Hi everybody, I'm Judy from the White Pigeon Library. I'm here today with Ramsey Idris at the Idris Family Nursery.
Hello.
Ramsey's a friend of mine, he and his wife, and he has invited us out to talk to him about his very interesting hobby, beekeeping.
So, beekeeping, yeah, very interesting.
Beekeeping.
I'm trying to keep my mind going, so I started beekeeping. And as a friend of mine, I just got off with the phone. He said, you got to dive in, so I did.
Why did you want to keep bees? Just for honey?
It seemed like something interesting to do, and it really, after you read a few books on it, it's just mind-boggling.
Wow.
All that goes on in the hive. So,
did you have any fear when you first got started? Yeah,
absolutely. Still have nervous, so I try not to be nervous around bees.
I'm a little nervous.
It depends on the time of year. Because
Lisa is a little nervous here filming this today.
So, and you know, they do sting. It doesn't seem to be as bad as yellow jacket or a bald-faced hornet. It goes away pretty quickly.
Okay.
So, yeah,
a little different animal.
I do have a little bit of nervousness at times, and you try not to show that because I've heard that they can sense that.
Yeah,
and
they probably can. So you've got some things here in front of us. I'm curious. This is totally new to me. Okay. So is this what a hive would look like?
This is kind of a mock hive because it's all my components are out in the field right now because I've had divisions and splits this year and nukes that I've made, which I can explain later. So this is kind of a general, and then we'll see exactly what goes on when we get out there. So in the hive components, there's a top cover. It's called a telescopic cover. It covers over. This is just a homemade because I needed one in an emergency. So, but it covers the hive and goes down and keeps the water off the hive. So when you open up the hive, inside you'll have an inner cover which covers all the frames. So
and these are the frames?
These are the frames. You'll see the inner cover when we get up there. Because of the frames,
oh, okay.
The frames, they're different ways. Now this is a deep, okay, because it's a deeper box than the one below it. This is called a medium. So this is the main hive body is in here, and this is plastic. So you can have plastic or natural from beeswax foundation, and I have some of that we can show you.
Okay.
So the bees will take this and they will, it gets a light coating of wax on it to
The
start.
bees make the wax?
Bees make the wax. They have wax on their abdomen, they have glands, they make wax. So they will draw this out into comb. We just get them started.
That's pretty fascinating.
So that's about it.
How they do that.
So I'll have to look, and I don't know if any of these, if I have already drawn comb or if it's all out in the field. But so the black, there's black and white plastic, and there might be other plastics, but the black is usually in the brood box, which is where the queen's laying eggs, and it makes it a lot easier to see the egg if you're checking the queen because it's got a black background.
All right.
Because the egg in there is like a grain of rice. Much smaller, but it's one little grain of rice.
Okay. Is there
picture.
One queen per hive?
There's one queen per hive.
I see.
And then there's 3 different kinds of bees. So there's the queen, only one. The drones, which are the males. And then there's the workers, which are all females. So the majority of the hive is all female. They do all the work. They clean all the cells. They feed the bees. They do everything. The drones, all they do is mate with the queen. And they're just around just to fly off to an area, find the queen and mate with her.
Okay, and so the drones are the ones that are going out pollinating?
No, the drones are the ones that are going out just to mate with the queen. The workers, depending on their stage, because they'll spend the first 2 weeks in the hive after they emerge, or I'm not going to say born, but then after that they will start to fly and start to bring in pollen, start to bring in nectar and everything. But the drones, their only purpose is to fertilize the queen.
Interesting.
So, yep.
What's this smoking gizmo
so
here?
Today is hot and humid, cloudy, and a little bit sunny, and so we have a smoker going so we can calm the bees a little bit. So in the front of the hive there are guard bees. When they set up, if they come out and they sense danger, they're going to come at us, or they might come to sting us, this calms them down.
Okay.
Okay, fire in the hole.
And that's just fire?
That's just
You don't
smoke.
have any herbs or anything crazy going in there for them?
No, not those. In some
right.
of their other stuff, there are lemongrass oil and some other stuff that goes in. But that's strictly a little bit of paper, get it started, and then some pieces of pine I put in there to keep the fire going, and then I smothered it. I used white pine needles. So dry white pine.
So it'll burn slowly.
So it just smokes, yeah, because you want cool smoke, cool white smoke. You don't want to get them hot.
All right.
So.
And these are tools down here, I'm assuming?
Yeah, that's just a hive tool, and the other one is a queen, what they call a queen catcher, which is they make them different. I've got a metal one and a plastic one, and that's if we get down in the hive and we're doing hive manipulation, and we want to make sure the queen is not getting squished.
Oh.
So we can catch her in that and set her to the side, and then we don't take the risk of destroying the queen because there's only one.
You need to protect the queen.
We need to protect the queen, and we can get into it. They'll make a new one if hopefully we don't squish any queens. So, and then the bottom of the hive is actually the bottom board. This one is I wouldn't say, I don't know if it's old school or not, but the new ones they're screen bottom boards, so the air can flow through and there's a slide out. But this I got from a neighbor, and I just happen to have this one here. So they will come in the front entry. This is called a reducer, hive reducer. So depending on the time of the year, they can either have a medium hole completely wide open where they come land and go in, or a smaller hole. It just depends on how the hive's doing.
I see.
And again,
so you control that.
We control that because they have to, if there's robbing season, which we're coming on, which one hive will rob out the other one's honey, and so we might control it with just the size of the opening, so they can protect this more than they can protect the whole opening.
All right.
So,
wow, a lot to this.
There's a lot to learn.
It seems,
every day, and this is only my third year into this.
Okay.
So that's my disclaimer.
Right. Well, shall we go take a look at the hives?
Yeah.
Okay. So the hives are just up here then?
Yep, the hives, you can just see them peeking out on top of the hill. So we have them on top. We're lucky that we want to locate our hives up top, so the air drainage, so the cool air drains down into the lower, like fruit trees.
Okay.
So that's why they'll put their fruit trees up on hills and sides of hills so that the air drains. It's protected from the north, so we're kind of walking a little bit north. So we want to winter protect them, and behind you'll see that we have a backdrop. Yeah, they stay in the hives all winter, and the whole thing right now, this time of year, it is September 1st. So they have hopefully been making what they call winter bees, which are fat bees that are referred to. They're still females, but they have more fat in their bodies to survive the winter.
Okay. So, just like most animals.
Yeah, or many humans.
And humans, right.
Yeah, so a typical worker that's bringing in nectar and pollen might live 6 weeks, whereas winter bees, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, I don't know, but it's a much longer period of time. Different books have different answers to that question.
What about water? It's been so dry.
So they actually prefer, they like swimming pool water.
They do? Well, you've got them covered there, but they probably shouldn't have it, right?
No, I don't know why they like swimming pool water, but they seem to like swimming pool water. Or we have a pond back down here that they'll use, or we fill up a bucket actually up by the house, which is actually a chicken waterer, and they love that because they can just invert all along the edge and bring water back to the hive. You can see this, the boxes on these hives, they're all different, and they're all different sizes, and they're all at different stages. So the first box, there was a swarm that I collected that swarmed out of one of my hives. It happened to be up here, and it landed, was in the grass, and I found the queen, so I picked her up and I put her in the box with a handful of the other bees that were with her, and they all go in the box.
Wow.
So this is how they reproduce, and they split and they make a new hive. So they'll swarm.
Right now you'll see a couple of photos and a video of Ramsey and his wife Allison capturing the swarm.
Okay, so we're filming again. You can see that they're all kind of covering the box. So we're thinking that the queen is in there. There's still a few on the tree, on the leaves, but not as many as before. So I don't know, I'm taking that as a good sign. What about you, Ramsey?
I don't know.
You're being interviewed.
Oh.
Mr. Idris, how do you feel?
I feel really hot in this suit, and I'm going to go take it off. That's how I feel.
So we're going to leave this for a little bit. Todd recommended until like dusk or 9:30 or something this evening so that they would all be in. Hopefully we can put the cover on them once they don't look like a shag rug anymore. Okay, thank you. Bye.
You know, when they swarm, that's the most gentle they are.
Really?
They don't sting. They don't. Their whole purpose is to go and make a new colony.
Okay.
Make a new hive somewhere. So
I guess we always think of it in a different way. I would think a
Yeah.
swarm of bees would be
Well, that's
ready to
because
attack, but
that's-
that's just a,
yeah.
you know,
that's just something we saw in black and white movies when we
Exactly.
were younger, and the African bees were killing
Yeah.
everybody. It's a small colony. There's very possible I might end up taking that one and combining it with one of the others down there, probably the one with the yellow box. Put the two together to make them stronger,
okay.
to survive the winter.
So that's simply a matter of just moving one box on top
yeah,
of
there
another.
to be two queens, and when you put them together, you put a piece of newspaper in between the two.
Mm-hmm.
They'll chew their way through, and one queen will survive and the other won't.
Oh,
So they'll dispose of one queen.
survival of the
Yeah,
fittest.
but then they'll all kind of be one big hive instead
Okay.
of two small ones. But I'm just waiting to see what happens. So I'll get my suit on.
Okay.
We'll try to see what we can find in this hive.
All right, I will get mine on. Well, this is a first. We're at the hive right now. Ramsey assures me everything hopefully will be
We hope.
everything.
We can only hope at this point.
Because you say the
So-
weather's not ideal for doing this,
The weather
right?
is not ideal. We're going to see what happens, and if they're not happy, then we'll close the hive back up.
What don't they like? The clouds, the moisture,
High humidity, and there's rain coming.
and they know
So-
that.
And I don't know if they know that or not, but they tend to get a little more aggravated, and this time of year as well.
Okay.
So, you can see, I don't know if you can see them, they're flying pretty good. So they're bringing in pollen right now and maybe a little nectar. They're on goldenrod,
Oh,
so the goldenrod are blooming, so you'll see they'll be bringing in some yellow pollen. So we're going to smoke the hive. We always approach the hive from the back because this is their
because
flight
they're
pattern.
hanging out
Yeah,
there.
they're coming in and out. So we're going to give them a little bit of smoke and give it a second just to try to have the guard bees kind of calm down.
All right.
And then
I see
there's
you've got some notes written up here. Is this?
Some upper entrance. Yeah, that's my treatments. And then on the 7th of August, there was no queen in this hive.
Oh,
So they had made queen cells. They had 6 queen cells in there, and she'll emerge, and then she will go and tear open the other cells and kill the other queens. And on the 21st, I came up and there's a new queen. And I know that because I found her,
uh-huh.
and I could see that she was laying, so I knew that everything was good.
Wow.
So the
Are the
top-
queen? This is maybe a dumb question. Are the queens? How do you recognize the queen? How different do
she's-
they look?
She's larger,
Okay.
longer, and her right here, which I think is the thorax, there's a big black dot. We'll see. But
All right, so they're
definitely
pretty
sometimes with-
unmistakable. from-
well, the drones, sometimes you go, oh, that's a queen, but it's really a drone. So we're going to open this up carefully.
boy, this is the closest I've been to anything like this before.
So in here, these are feeders. I don't know if I'll take the cover off so you don't have to get too close if you want to. So I'm going to just give them a little bit of smoke, which is going to make them make a little noise. And then I'm going to take this cover off so you can see. So I'm feeding them sugar water because this was a swarm, and they use the sugar water to draw comb, and they need to put up food for winter.
Oh,
So this is just
oh my goodness.
a house. It's just a box that's actually a deep, and these feeders are called Boardman feeders. I don't. They're made that when you get them, you stick them in the front, but I don't use them in the front because that could draw robbing. We won't do that, so we'll put these guys down.
You're gonna open this?
Yeah.
No.
I'm gonna open that, and we're gonna hopefully they're gonna stay pretty calm.
Okay, I'm getting ready to move if I
fine.
have to.
Yeah, you're fine. So we'll give them a little bit of smoke.
Lisa, how you doing?
Yeah.
Doing good.
Okay.
I'm nervous.
Okay. So
Try not to be.
you'll see that the lids they've got. This is called propolis, or I've heard people say propolis. They get it from sap from trees.
This
and
stuff, it looks kind of tarry.
Yeah, they use it to stick the hive down and seal the hive. So when we open this,
They seal the
they
hive.
seal the hive.
They do, yeah.
Just open this up, see what, give them a little bit of smoke.
How many are in there? Just
This is a small hive, so I don't know. There could be
what, like hundreds,
10,000 in there.
thousands in
Thousands.
here.
Yeah, a big hive could be 60,000.
Holy moly.
Yeah. So we gave them a little bit of smoke, and we're going to keep the smoke handy. Okay.
So far, so good.
Yeah. So we'll check on the inner cover, make sure we don't see the queen in here because we don't want her to get smashed.
They are busy, aren't
Yeah,
they?
they're busy and they're making they're a little noisy. So in here, we're going to approach from this frame. So
Ramsey, how often do you come out here and tend to these guys? Is it a daily thing or?
no, maybe once. Depends on time of year. I'm still learning, so I'll maybe open them once a week, once every 10 days or every 2 weeks, just to see what's going on inside. So this particular hive, this is actually the brood nest. I added this deep hoping that she might move down for the winter. So there's really nothing in that deep. This is it.
I'm so surprised that doesn't irritate the heck out of them.
If you smoke them too much, it will. So we're going to just try to move slow, and you'll see.
Oh,
So-
wow.
That is drawn comb, and I don't know if you can see it in there. That's actually honey in there. You see the glistening kind of? Can you see it? If I
In
get
here.
the angle right.
Well, I
Yeah,
don't
that's
wanna
honey. It looks wet.
Okay.
So they're putting honey in there. Nothing on this side.
All right.
So that's why I might end up combining this hive because it's pretty small with one of the others. So we're going to try to do this nice and easy.
Wow.
Okay, so now in this frame, that's honey. That's capped honey. So this is how they put capped honey. The
So when you
yellow-
say capped honey, what?
it's cured. It's down below 18% moisture. They cap it.
Okay.
So
So it's capped
that'll
with the
store.
wax? Is that the wax
That's
on
all
top
wax.
of it?
Yeah, that's capped with the wax. And then you'll see in here, see the yellow?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yep.
pollen. This, which is wet, they haven't capped it yet. So they're still drying,
All right.
and they will dry it out. And I'm looking to see if I can see larvae in here. And you might be able to if we can get the sun right. At the bottoms of those empty cells, you'll see white, a curl. It looks like a C. I don't know if you can see it through the net and everything.
Kind of,
Yeah, I'll
yeah.
try to find another frame.
I'm just amazed that you're handling them and they're just, I mean, they
Yes.
don't
So
give a rip about us.
Can
do
you
they,
see
right
it
now?
down in there that there's white at the bottom? It's really hard to see, and I have to use magnifiers to see. But those are actually larvae, and they're not capped.
Okay.
And I haven't seen the queen yet. So she's filled those cells with eggs, and they've hatched, so she might be a little farther in. Give them a little bit. This will move them down in the hive a little. See how they move out of the way?
Yeah.
And let's see what else we can find. So right now there was no, what it's called capped brood, no babies capped. But this one does. Okay, so this is honey around the outer edge that they're going to use to feed. They already did.
Okay.
This is all capped larvae. It's egg hatches after 3 days. After 5 days they start capping, right? 5 to 6 days. And you can see on the outer edge here, if you can see in there, you'll see uncapped brood. They look
Okay.
like grubs.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. So this is all, and we should be looking, see if we can find her just to get a good picture of her.
The queen?
Yeah, the queen.
She
but
would be around here, you think?
somewhere, but she is elusive.
You know when the honey is ready to harvest?
Once it's capped,
The
it's
whole,
cured.
once this whole,
Yeah, like
thing
it
is
is now,
capped.
right there. If you can see that, that's capped.
Uh-huh.
This is not.
okay,
So they get it down below 18% moisture, and it gets capped.
all right. And then do they leave that once they're finished with it and go on to a different frame?
Yeah, they're done with this. They'll just work on the other cell.
All right.
So once it's capped, it's capped.
Wow.
So when I caught this swarm, this is what I had available. This is actually natural foundation. So that's wax
Okay.
that they drew out. This would normally be used for comb honey, the natural foundation. Oh, it could be used to, I mean, it doesn't have to be comb honey, but
So you're going to tell us a little bit about the product later then,
yeah.
I hope.
Yeah,
I don't know the difference between comb
You
honey.
can see, if you can see that. So we've got capped brood, which is the babies.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got capped honey around the outside and uncapped. So cured, uncured. And there's little bits of pollen in here, not a whole lot. That's the
Okay.
yellow cells. So they will take honey and they will take pollen, and they call it bee bread, and they'll feed it to the babies, to the larvae. After they give them, first they give them a shot of royal jelly,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll feed them bee bread,
Okay.
and then they cap the cell. And I'm gonna, you good? I'm gonna put this back together then.
So that was really cool. We didn't get to see the queen, but tell me about what these guys are doing in here. Who's who?
So there's only one queen. We kind of mentioned that earlier, and we didn't see her because sometimes she's really elusive and she's hard to find. And if she's got a bunch of bees, she has tending bees that just feed her and take care of her and
Oh,
clean her and
nice.
clean up after her. So
So she's probably in here right now.
she's in there, and we know that because there's eggs and there's uncapped larvae, which look like C-shaped grubs in the bottom of the cells at different sizes. So they're
Okay.
at different stages. And then there's capped brood, which is after they get to a certain stage, they cap them and feed them, cap them, and then they have to sit there depending on if it's a drone, it takes so long to develop, or if it's a worker, it takes so long. We didn't see any queen cells. They'll have what's called a supersedure cell or an emergency queen cell in there, that if all of a sudden there's no queen and they sense there's no pheromone from the workers,
Mm-hmm.
they will take a 3 to 5 day old larva and they will put it in the queen cell, and then they will finish it as a queen. So they'll
Oh.
feed it all royal jelly, 100% royal jelly. They will feed that and they'll make a new queen. But
That's
it'll take them
amazing.
16 days to get a new queen.
Okay.
But
But the queen does go out to.
when
do
well,
things.
yeah, the queen, once she's in the hive now, she's in. With the exception.
Oh,
so once
okay.
she's
That's what I
mated,
was getting at.
once
I thought
she-
maybe she was in and out of the hive.
No, she's only the girls are going in and out, and only the drones. So only the worker girls and the foraging bees are
Okay.
going in and out, and the drones are going. And the drones are going. So this time of year, there's still some drones, but not as many. And they go out to a spot. I don't know where the spot is, but they go all congregate and meet and try to find a queen. So hoping to find that virgin queen, and then they'll mate with her. Anywhere from 8 to 12 to 15 drones will mate with her, and she will store in herself, and I don't know how to pronounce the word, but it's spermacia or the sac. She'll store all their sperm, and she'll use it throughout the rest of her life.
Interesting.
So, and she may live a couple years. She may only live 6 months. If they decide that she's not doing really well, they will make a new queen to replace her. The drones, they only have one job besides eating and flying to do the queen. That's it. That's all they do.
That's all they
They
do.
don't clean the hive.
Dogs.
They don't do anything. Yeah, and come later this year, they'll start throwing them out. the workers, the worker girls.
Oh, they'll throw
will-
the drones
they'll chuck
out.
them out. They'll chuck them out for the
Gotcha.
winter. You're done,
Okay.
and we don't need you eating any more food for the
So
winter
who
time.
remains
so you're
in the
out.
hive in the winter then? Just the
queen
and the workers?
and all the girls.
Okay.
Yeah, queen
And
all
they'll
the girls.
just live off of what's in there.
What's stored. So
Mm-hmm.
this time of year, we're trying to make sure that they've got enough honey and enough storage to survive the winter.
Okay.
Because depending on the size of the hive, depends on how many pounds they need. So they could need from 60 to 100 pounds of honey
Really?
stored to survive the winter, depending on how many are in there.
And then when you feel like there's enough for them to get through the winter, do you collect the rest for yourselves then?
We can take off, or we can leave it for the winter, so they've got plenty of stores, or we can take it and give it to a weaker hive that doesn't have stores. So
Gotcha.
if that one's got 200 pounds of honey on it, I could take 100 off, or I could take 50 of it and put it in here to help this hive. So, but this one's so small, I don't know. We're going to see. Like, I might have to combine it with another hive to survive the winter.
Wow, that's
So-
it's amazing stuff. I had no idea. That
Okay.
was great.
We're
That
back.
was-
We survived.
There's so much to it. So
Little
how did
sweaty.
you? I know that you said you got started 3 years ago, but did you? Is there a book? Is there a class? What did you just? You say you
so-
dove in.
So we kind of, a friend of mine, I wanted to visit his hives, and he wasn't too open to that. He said, you just got to dive in. So that's what we did. We took a class actually in Mendon from
Oh, I've heard of that.
Beeline.
Right,
It's
I've
a
heard of
weekend.
them.
It's like an 8-hour class, 2 times, and then you go out and you have an apiary day where they've got a few hives, and you go out and then talk about it. So that's how Allison and I started, is we went to that. And then after that we went to bee school, which is Kalamazoo Bee Club puts on. 1-day event on a Saturday. It's all day educational classes, and you can go pick any class you want, from beginners to more advanced. And I think that was in February. I'm not positive about that. But they
So you
put
were
that
getting
on
ready
there.
to start this then in the spring.
Yeah.
You hadn't bought any
Well,
equipment or
that-
anything yet.
No, I had already.
Oh, okay. So you knew you were
after,
going to do it.
After the school in Mendon, it was a spring thing. The bee school was actually the following winter, after the first year of experience already. So we bought, because they recommend it, you start with 2 nukes. We bought nukes. We bought 2 hive setups, and we put the nukes into the hives, and away they went. That first winter we lost 1 hive, so the next year we bought 1 more nuke, and ever since then that's it. So
Wow.
we've just been splitting and dividing and making our own as we
So
learn.
you've had pretty good luck with it then.
As we've learned how to do it. Yeah,
Great.
manipulate the hive.
So other than just having a wonderful hobby and the experience and knowledge, you get honey too.
We get honey. So we harvest. There's early honey, and then there's a little bit of late season honey, depending on how the honey flow is.
And you have not harvested late season yet?
I haven't. No, late season's just beginning as far as I
Okay.
see, because I see the goldenrod are just starting to bloom. They started about a week ago, so that to me that's indicator it's just starting for the late season, and we won't take that much off because they need 60 to 100 pounds of honey each hive to
Wow.
survive the winter, and we want them to survive on their own honey.
So what are the differences between what you have
So
out here?
this is, if you can see that, this is this year. It's light. It's got great flavor to it, and I don't have the palate that some people can. Oh, I can taste this. I can taste that.
So
I
you
just
should
like
be able
the
to
way it
taste like
tastes.
the flowers, like
Yeah, you can go with that.
okay,
I'll
like
just-
kind of like wine.
It's kind of like that. Some people can do that. I don't think I have the palate for that. Whereas you might have the wine palate where you can taste that backdrop. Allison will say, "Oh, it tastes earthy." That was our last fall's honey, which is I like because it's a real strong honey. So this is early. It's light. I have no idea how many different types of flowers went into this. Don't know. So, but that's natural honey. That's unprocessed, unheated. It's raw honey.
So you just do you filter it? Something you have to
It goes
filter
through
it.
2 screens. That's
Okay.
it. It just goes through a couple of screens to get out the bugs.
All right, and then you put it directly into
Bugs,
a jar.
to get out the dead bees that are in it, because
The
there's
dead
always
bees.
dead bees or larvae or something, and then it basically goes straight into a jar.
And that's it. And how
Double
long? What's the
filtered.
shelf life on it?
Forever.
Really? Does it need to be refrigerated
It
after
does.
it's open?
It does not need to be refrigerated.
Okay.
So the bees will dry it down to 18% or less, and then cap it of moisture. So once that's done, it's cured,
Oh,
and it'll keep forever. I just read something about pharaohs being buried with honey, and the honey is still good.
Okay.
So, although I'm not going to try it, but so that's this year. Then what happens with natural honey is it will crystallize. So the stuff that's in the store, if you heat treat it, if you raise it, there's different temperatures and different time variation. So if it's a higher temperature, it's less time, it won't crystallize. But this, if you can see the two different, so the bottom is crystallizing. This is last year.
So that will happen just naturally. That
That's
would happen
natural.
to any honey.
That's natural if it's not been heat treated.
Okay.
So we don't do any of that. There's no heat treating.
But it's
on
still
the
good.
honey. Nothing wrong with it.
Allison told me
So-
she eats it out of the jar like
Yeah, so this
candy.
one also, you can see that, that's crystallized. And if you warm that up in a water bath, it'll liquefy.
Okay.
So if you want it liquid. So, but this is just, there's probably liquid on the top. See, but
Yeah,
it's,
just a little sheen there.
Yep.
Do you have to heat seal these jars like you would any other canning process?
No.
No.
No, we just put them in. We just happen to have these jars. We like the shape. That's okay. And then sometimes we'll put a piece of comb honey in,
Mm-hmm.
just for fun. This one doesn't have comb
And
honey.
this is comb honey?
That's what that is. So this is comb honey, but it's also crystallized on the bottom. And we didn't do this the way if you're really producing comb honey. We just had some comb honey in and we cut it out. We didn't drip it. Like they put it on screens
So
and they
this
drip it
would
out.
be like, just kind of give me a
Yes.
visual here.
So if
Like you pull your comb out, you're ready to harvest.
Yeah, if you want to see natural comb, this is not natural comb. So if this was natural wax, which I have some combs in there, natural wax, we put that in there to make comb honey. And then this is a cut out of that.
Okay.
So I've
So
got
you
a
just
cookie cutter.
pretty much slice it
I
off.
got a cookie cutter. Don't just chunk it out. Yep, and put it in. Then we didn't let it drip out. We just put it right in. So that's why there's so much.
Yeah. So
on the
how would
bottom.
people use this? I mean, what makes this? Is this more desirable to have it on the comb?
Well, this is going to have probably pollen mixed in with it, and who knows, there might be a larvae or two in there.
Oh,
Yummy.
yeah. I'll take some.
Yummy bits.
All right. It looks like we're going to taste a little honey today.
Yeah, we have 3 different years of honey, so in 3 different time frames. So this is autumn honey, which is, if you can see, it's very dark, and it's very crystallized, and almost, definitely a different flavor. So
We'll just
you
take
can
a little
I
off
mean,
the-
You could take a whole chunk, doesn't matter. So we've got them lined up. So here's 2019, and here's this year. And you can see the color differences.
Yeah. So this is, you said you like the autumn honey because
that's autumn honey.
it's richer and
It's got definitely a different flavor. So I don't know if like wine tasting, you should start with the light stuff and work your way up, or the dark stuff and work your way down. It doesn't.
that is good.
Yeah.
I see what you mean though. It's kind of, I don't know, toasty. So this was 2018,
Yeah.
and this
there's
is
19.
Is this autumn honey too, or
No,
this is
I don't think that's autumn honey.
okay?
Although it does look darker.
It does look darker. It
it's
looks a
not-
lot darker than this
it's
one.
not dated, but I'm thinking that's just the summer harvest.
Okay.
Definitely not as dark. There's definitely a color, and when you're harvesting, there are frames. You can see the dark honey on the frame different. That all of a sudden they got into something else. So it might be light in the middle and then dark on the edges. So we would try to separate out the frames. That's just us because we want to taste the difference.
There's a big difference. Sweet. I mean, they're all sweet, but this one is like super sweet to
Is
me.
it?
Whereas this one had more of a deeper.
And this is what Allison called earthy flavor.
Yeah, I can see why she would say that.
That's how she referred to that as earthy.
And this one's just super sweet, but
Yeah, and then
it's
you get
very,
to go
very
for the
good.
next one.
Okay, and
We'll
so
get
this is this year's,
No
you say?
diabetes this year. Yeah, that's this year. That's end of July.
Okay.
It hasn't crystallized. It will.
This one hasn't, though.
Down below.
Oh, it's starting to.
I think it has a little down below.
Completely different flavor, I think.
All three of them, all different. And then there's the comb.
Yeah, but delicious. Okay, so this is the comb and the wax.
And this is also, here, well,
So we spit the wax out, right?
yeah, just take a chunk off of it. I'll go get some more spoons. So this might be Autumn Honey 19 because this is labeled 19. See the difference? So you get to taste another one.
Okay, that's probably my last one. I'm going to have
Yeah, the sugar
a
fish.
sugar thing.
Yeah. So that probably is from fall or a different, a little darker in the comb.
And this tastes more like this to me. Mmm. It's like candy.
They're all different.
Mm-hmm. There.
All different. It's all from the same location because they all came from that group.
But they're
that's
eating
up
different
there.
things at different times of the year.
Depending on what they're bringing in, what's blooming, and if it's like last year. I think it was last year. It was really rainy, so there was, it takes a little bit for that to dry out, and then, it's different every year.
Ramsey, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This was
You're
just
welcome.
a wealth of information. I had no idea how involved that is and how smart those little bees are. It's,
I think they're smarter than we are.
yeah, well, thank you.
So you're welcome.
It's been great being
You're
out
welcome.
here. So we did find out in the course of things today that Ramsey also grows mushrooms, and we may come back out and take a look at that process. Some fancy mushrooms, shiitake, and so that would be another interesting thing to do. But once again, I want to thank you.
You're welcome.
Had a great time.
Thanks.
Loved the bee suit.